Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. We'll start with some bhajans. वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे पीड़ पराई जाने रे। वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे पीड़ पराई जाने रे। पर दुखे उपकार करे तो ये मन अभिमान ना आने रे। वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे। सकल लोक मां सहुने वंदे निंदा न करे केनी रे। वाच काच मन निश्चल राखे धन धन जननी तेनी रे। वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे पीड़ पराई जाने रे। समदृष्टि ने तृष्णा त्यागी पर स्त्री जेने मात रे। जिह्वा थकी असत्य न बोले पर धन नव चाले हाथ रे। वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे पीड़ पराई जाने रे। मोह माया व्यापे नहीं जेने दृढ़ वैराग्य जेना मन मारे। राम नाम शु ताहि रे लागे सकल तीरथ तीना तन मारे। वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे पीड़ पराई जाने रे। पर दुखे उपकार करे तो ये मन अभिमान ना आने रे। वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे। वनलोपी ने कपट रहित छे काम क्रोध निवार्या रे। बन नर सयो तेनु दर्शन करता कुल एको तेर तार्या रे। वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे पीड़ पराई वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे। राधिका मनोहरा मदन गोपाला, राधिका मनोहरा मदन गोपाला, दीनवत्सला हे राजगोपाला, दीनवत्सला हे राजगोपाला, राधिका मनोहरा मदन गोपाला, राधिका मनोहरा मदन गोपाला, दीनवत्सला हे राजगोपाला, दीनवत्सला हे राजगोपाला, भक्तजन मंदारा वेणुगोपाला, भक्तजन मंदारा वेणुगोपाला, मुरलीधरा हे गानविलोला, मुरलीधरा हे गानविलोला, राधिका मनोहरा मदन गोपाला, राधिका मनोहरा मदन गोपाला, दीनवत्सला हे राजगोपाला, दीनवत्सला हे राजगोपाला, भक्तजन मंदारा वेणुगोपाला, भक्तजन मंदारा वेणुगोपाला, मुरलीधरा हे गानविलोला, मुरलीधरा हे गानविलोला, राधिका मनोहरा मदन गोपाला, राधिका मनोहरा मदन गोपाला, दीनवत्सला हे राजगोपाला, दीनवत्सला हे राजगोपाला, भक्तजन मंदारा वेणुगोपाला, भक्तजन मंदारा वेणुगोपाला, मुरलीधरा हे गानविलोला, मुरलीधरा हे गानविलोला, राधिका मनोहरा मदन गोपाला, राधिका मनोहरा मदन गोपाला, दीनवत्सला हे राजगोपाला, दीनवत्सला हे राजगोपाला, भक्तजन मंदारा वेणुगोपाला, भक्तजन मंदारा वेणुगोपाला, मुरलीधरा हे गानविलोला, मुरलीधरा हे गानविलोला, मुरलीधरा हे गानविलोला.
Hari Om everyone. Welcome back to the camp. Glad to see you all logged back in. Just wanted to quickly remind some of the housekeeping rules also. Please do keep your lines muted, and that way we don't have any disturbances. And also, as Swamiji is there and as he's during his satsang, if you have any questions, you could multiple ways you could actually contact. You can send email the questions to that yagna@chinmayatlanta.com, or you can even put it in the chat and then send it to UC Krishnamurti Subramanian, and you can actually put it in the chat over there. So and as you all know, like, the Zoom session will end right after that. If there are any announcements, we will certainly make that. So do hang on for a minute.
Let us join in doing the opening mantra again. Mangalacharan. Om Bhadram Karne Vishrinuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashe Maksh Yadayuhu Swastina Indro Vruddhashravaha स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, welcome back to this our second session now. If you're joining for the first time, we are seeing Kaivalya Upanishad, and we saw the opening two mantras. Ashwalayana went to Bhagwan Brahmaji and asked this question. We'll chant that and we'll see. This will be the first Adhihi Bhagavan. We'll chant that and you repeat, and then we'll continue from there. Adhihi Bhagavan Brahma Vidyam Varishtham Adhihi Bhagavan Brahma Vidyam Varishtham Sata Sadbhi Sevyamanam Nigudham Yaya Chirat Sarva Papam Yapohya Parat Param Purusham Yati Vidwan. So essentially what Ashwalayana is telling, you please teach me the highest knowledge, Brahma Vidyam Varishtam, the most exalted supreme knowledge. Teach me that thing. And then he goes on to praise that knowledge in the rest of the verse, and then Phalasuti is also given. Parat Param Purusham Yati Vidwan, that Vidwan who finds out this highest knowledge, he goes to a state of the supreme reality. So this is what is there. Now Brahmaji listened to Ashwalayana, and the mantra goes now. This will be number 2. Tasmai sahovacha pitamahascha shraddha bhakti dhyana yogat avaihi. Okay, so I'm breaking up some of the words so it will be easier for you to see those words are there. Tasmai sa hovacha pitamahascha. Pitamaha, Bhagwan Brahmaji, now said to him. To who? Ashwalayana. Replied to him. Replied to his request, his question. What is that? Very simple line, but also very instructional, very good line, wonderful line. But he says, you know that reality, know that, away, you know that reality. How? Shraddha Bhakti Dhyana Yogat. By Shraddha, Bhakti and Dhyana. So he asked about the supreme reality, that supreme knowledge, Brahma Vidyam. And Brahmaji's reply is, you know that by Shraddha, Bhakti and Jnana. So, Shraddha, Bhakti and Dhyan. Now, please see. I had told something to you long ago. I don't know if you remember, but I'll tell again. I'm pretty sure you forgot. So, our scriptures only have 2 things, you know. All scriptures can be boiled down only to 2 words. One word is mukti, and other word is sadhana. Mukti is there and sadhana. And I told you in morning, mukti is there, but we are nitya mukta. All the time we are mukta only. So the next word is sadhana, means all the spiritual practices and spiritual exercises and spiritual engagement which I am supposed to find myself engaged in. All of those things are there to treat with this upadhi, the most exalted part of the upadhi is intellect. So to treat with the intellect. So now all of the sadhanas which are there, starting with sadhanas from the most gross part of the upadhi, means this body. For example, when you get up in the morning and you do Surya Namaskar and you bow down there, you're doing with body, isn't it? The body is bowing down. You cannot lie on your bed in Om Bhaskaraya Namaha, Ek, Do, Teen, and you're doing Bhaskaraya Namaha in your bed and you did not move. That is not Surya Namaskar. So you have to actually get up and go through all of those. So there are so many different types of sadhanas for at the bodily level. Then there are so many different types of sadhanas at the emotional level. And then there are so many types of sadhanas at the intellectual level. You see? So now, here, Bhagwan Brahmaji is now telling to Ashwalayana, now you have to do these sadhanas. Now, if you see our Puja Gurudev's explanation of these verses, you will see Shraddha is the first sadhana, then Bhakti, then Dhyana. Now, these are not the only sadhanas that are there, but there are countless sadhanas. And if you're a Hindu, you're very lucky. You can do so, and you have nice variety of sadhanas in buffet style. All lined up there, you go down and you take whatever you like. But here, what he has done is, he has listed two sadhanas, one from the intellectual standpoint and one from the emotional standpoint, from head and heart. So, Shraddha, first one. Shastrasya Guru Vakyasya Satya Buddhyavadharanam. Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, this Shraddha is to have faith in what the Guru and what the Shastras, and actually four things are there. We are supposed to have faith. The Shastras, what the Guru tells, faith in Ishvara, and faith in oneself also. So, he says that we practice this Shraddha. Now, Gurudev gives very nicely that Shraddha is an intellectual thing. Intellectual thing. Shraddha really is predominantly intellectual. It is the, I'll tell you, the quality in the intellect which affords the intellect to understand itself at its very deepest level. So that intellect has to make a very informed calculation that if I hang on to this A, B, C, D, and I pursue this line of action and I do this type of sadhanas, then the result will be this. The intellect has to adhere to that. The intellect cannot say, I'm going to do A, B, C, D, but you know, I am not sure whether the result will come or the result, that intellect will not actually achieve, or that individual will not achieve anything. The intellect has to have faith that, yes, I'm doing A, B, C, D, and the result will be this, like that. So it really, that is an intellectual calculation. Something which the intellect has to, yes, in the past, I have seen when a person did A, B, C, D, the result was E. So I have seen that from ordinary experience, and then many people have stood testimony to that, and so on. So the intellect calculates, yes. So this is an informed belief that what? Yes, E is going to be the result. And that way, the intellect is able to continue its pursuit, even though it has not, he has not gone through the actions and seen that result yet. From information of the past, information of scriptures and gurus and so many, yes, this will be the result. And if the intellect doesn't hold on to this, then it will not move forward. It cannot progress. You see? So this is called a Shraddha, something which the intellect holds on to, calculating after information. After information from Guru and Shastra and tradition and, you know, those who took testimony and so many things like that. So it's an intellectual thing. Shraddha. So he said that we must have the faith in the words of the Guru and in the. I know Bhagwan Shankaracharya says a very nice thing. Sa Shraddha Katitha Sadbhihi Yaya Vastu Palabhyate. I like that phrase so much. And in Vivek Chudamani, you will see this. When he discussed there, Shraddha, that last pada says, Yaya Vastu Upalabhyate. It means to say it is by Shraddha that one achieves the highest. If that intellect doesn't have a strong Shraddha, it cannot progress forward. You know, when you are sure about something, see, you have not seen it yet, but you are sure. That is the idea. The intellect has to have that. I'm sure. So, first, Bhagwan Brahmaji tells, by Shraddha. My dear Ashwalayana, you have to have this. Then Bhakti. Moksha Karana Samagryam, Bhagwan Bhashakar says, Moksha Karana Samagryam, Bhakti Reva Gariyasi. Bhakti supersedes all the different types of sadhanas for moksha. He's extolling the greatness of bhakti. And what is that bhakti? In the next line, very nicely he tells, Swaswarupa Anusandhanam is called as bhakti. Bhakti Ritya Vidhiyate. So, there, bhakti really is Swaswarupa Anusandhanam, means I have to go on. See, I'll back up a little bit and tell you about this bhakti. You may jump high or jump low or say this or say that or deny this, deny that, agree with this, agree with that. But I tell you, in this world, nobody loves himself. Nobody loves anything in this world more than himself. You may want to dispute that also, but the fact is, everything boils down to self-love. We all love ourselves the most. You see, when suppose I say, oh, I love this person. I love this person more than my own life. I love this person so much, or whatever you may say. And this child, or this son, this mother, father, husband, wife, whatever. Look here, I only love that person because that person gives me joy. So who is feeling the joy? I'm feeling the joy. I get joy from that. If that person used to give me misery, only misery, nobody will say, I love that person. Really speaking, we all love ourselves the most. This is Shastric also. Now, here, Bhagwan Bhashakar is saying, Swaswarupa Anusandhanam Bhakti Ritya Vidhiyate. Bhakti is really more and more turning our mind over and over to our own self. And here now, it is not the individual self which is being referred to, but the super self, the self which is the self of all beings. More and more turning the mind towards that, we call as bhakti. Now, bhakti, and this means with love. You see, bhakti is an emotional thing. So, Shraddha and bhakti. And the last one, Shraddha intellectual, bhakti emotional. Last one, they call it dhyana. Gurudev gives a nice slant to that dhyana. Dhyana, he says, is really the amalgamation of both of them. The developing of both head and heart, integrating the personality, bringing wholeness to our personality. And there's a great Shraddha and intellectual development on the one side, and a great bhakti and emotional development, and integrating the personality with both of them. In other words, when I sit, and now here, really, in this last word, is the most important sadhana in Vedanta. Most important sadhana in Vedanta is actually dhyana. But dhyan can only be the result of shraddha and bhakti. In other words, of an intellectual maturity and an emotional maturity. When those two things come together, then only proper dhyana, meditation is possible. So this meditation, dhyana, yoga, is the eventual sadhana of Vedanta. We may do all sorts of prior sadhanas in Vedanta, but this dhyana meditation really is our highest sadhana. Atma samstham mana kritva na kinchidapi chintayet. Placing the mind in the self and think of nothing else. Let all my attention and all my deliberation and everything be drawn and put on the self and think of nothing else. So this meditation, and no need to go into detail here about meditation. That will come up just now only. Pretty soon again this will come. So here Bhagwan Brahmaji gives the intellectual sadhana, emotional sadhana, and then also the ultimate sadhana, which is the culmination of the amalgamation of these two. An integration in the personality is required for this type of sadhana. Now, Shraddha, Bhakti, Dhyan. And we will see Dhyan in more detail as we go along. Before Brahmaji continues to Ashvalayana, he tells, or he tries to remove from the mind of this Ashvalayana some misconceptions which people have. In two very famous verses, you all will know these verses once you hear them. You have heard them 1,000 times over, but here they come in this Kaivalya Upanishad, and they appear in different places. These verses are very famous. Now see, I will chant. Removing misconceptions before we continue. This is what Brahmaji is going to do. See. Na karmana na prajaya dhanena tyage naike amritatva manashuhu parena nakam nihitam guhayam vibhrajate yat yatayo vishanti. The yatayaha, yataya plural is used. Yatayaha means those who strive hard, those sadhakas, those aspirants, those seekers, those who strive hard, who make a lot of effort. Vishanti, they enter into that reality. They enter into that reality. Now, how they enter, that is one question which is there. How do they enter into that reality? The one question. But before that, Brahmaji tells, there are certain things by which they cannot enter. That is the idea. He said, because why Brahmaji is going to tell this, because over a long period of history, people have all sorts of strange and funny beliefs, superstitious beliefs or strange beliefs or funny beliefs or beliefs that came up from the past that are inexplicable. People don't know why they believe. There are so many things, even now in our ordinary life, there are so many things that we believe and we don't know why we believe. I'm telling you, this happened actually. I was sitting in a taxi in New Delhi, and that taxi driver came to that red light, but red light, no vehicle was coming the other way, crossing like this, and we were going this way. So he looked, nothing is coming here, nothing is coming here, red light, but nothing is coming, I can go. And he went through. Just 200 yards in front there, a black cat crossed. That cat crossed the road, he stopped. And then he reversed and then went forward. So traffic light is not sufficient to stop him, but black cat is sufficient to stop him. Then what we should do, put black cat by all traffic light. So anyway, but why people believe that? We don't know, people believe. So this is the reality of things. People believe in so many things that we don't know. Now here are some things that people believe which are not true. This Atma Jnana or Mukti, Atma Jnana, Mukti cannot be achieved by karma, na karmana. But this is a very simple reason. Look here, my problem is not a problem of the dearth of activity, of action. My problem is a problem of ignorance, isn't it? I do not know myself. I mean, I know every individual object around me, and I know so many things, but I don't know myself. Therefore, I have ignorance of myself. See, when we're using these words, I don't know means I have ignorance. I'm ignorant of myself. So it's a problem of ignorance. But ignorance only has one antithesis, one opposite. Like darkness only has one opposite. The opposite of darkness is light. If there's darkness in this room, no matter what you do, you blow it out with a fan, or you sweep it out with a broom, or you vacuum that darkness, or no matter, wash it out with water, it will go. It will not go. Darkness only has one antithesis, and that is called light. So you only have to ignite something. You see, darkness will go. In the same way, ignorance only has one antithesis. That is called knowledge. So karma cannot remove ignorance. That is the idea. Karma can, that doesn't mean say karma doesn't have results. Karma has its own results. Everything in the world has results, you see. But it cannot remove ignorance. I need this knowledge. So na karmana. Otherwise, many people feel that I can do all of these rituals and all of this karma and then I will get mukti. That is the idea. So that is not true. In other words, Brahmaji is trying to remove this misconception. Karma has a place and has results and all of that sort of thing. And one has to go through all of those things and get the results of that, but not mukti. That is not the result. Then na prajaya. This mukti cannot come by praja. Praja means offsprings. How this comes in? This actually is there. From many stories in Puranas and many places, people believe that by offsprings, because the offsprings can do offerings on my behalf, and the offsprings can do certain karmas and certain things, and I will get mukti. And this comes from misinterpretation of such stories like, Maharaj Bhagirata is there in Bhagavatam, and then in Bhagavatam also that Gokarna and Dhundukari, all of this, you have heard these stories, na? So because somebody else did something for the ancestors, they feel, well, okay, if I have children, they will do something and I will get mukti. It doesn't happen. Na? That doesn't happen. Look here, my karma in helping you has limitations. It doesn't mean that I cannot help you. One person could help another person, but the help has limitations. The extent to which the help can go, there are limitations. Like, for example, I can give you food. Okay. So I go there, I work, I get money, I buy food and I give it to you. Right? That much I can do. But can I eat the food and digest the food for you? So my helping you will have limitations. This much A, B, C I can do. D, E, F you have to do. You only can eat and digest. So all help from children and from the next generation and all that, they can have some help. Yes, if you make offerings to your ancestors, it is Puranas, it is there and all, they will get the offering, but the offering does not bring mukti. That is a different thing altogether. So when we see the stories of the Puranas and all that, they are there, and yes, one person can help another person, but that help or that assistance will have limitations. Okay. So na prajaya, by begetting children and the children will do things on my behalf and I will get mukti. No, that will not happen. All actions will have limitations like that. Dhanena. This is a very funny thing also. Dhanena means what, by wealth. Many people feel they can buy their way into mukti. I can buy mukti. Mukti was that easy. I just make a lot of money and I pay and I get mukti. That will not happen. Huh? No, that doesn't mean to say that I give dhan. Danena, sometimes it is given also. Here, dhanena, dan means I give charity. That doesn't mean to say that doesn't have benefit. That has benefit, but not mukti. You see, that is the idea. And now the next line. How then is this mukti achieved? Very nicely. Tyagena ek. Eke means only by tyaga. And this amritatva manashu, this reality or enlightenment is achieved. And tyaga here is, just now you remember when we were in the beginning, when Ashwalayana was asking, there he was telling that when I get this knowledge, I will remove all pap. Having dropped all pap, I will attain that state. The tyaga here is also to be interpreted, how we interpret it, extreme. I told all pap starts from ignorance and everything down. Well, tyag is also to be taken in its extreme meaning. Means I have to drop every single thing. Means to say identification with every single thing. And here, our all identification is with this body. All of us feel we are the body only. Because dehatma buddhi. All of us feel that we are this body. And tyag means I drop total identification with this body. And any desire to serve also. Any desire to do service to this body means all things that we are pursuing all day really is for this. And not only body, the whole upadhi. It requires total disidentification with this upadhi. The entire upadhi. Tyagena. Ekena, by one means only. Parena nakam nihitam guhayam vibhrajate yat yatayo vishanti. And he says that this person who has done this thing means has practiced extreme tyaga. Tyagat shanti anantaram. Quickly, by tyag, shanti, eternal peace comes. Bhagwan says. So here, by this tyag, one can enter that state of pure being, pure existence, pure Satchitananda. By tyag alone. Then in the next verse, which again you all know, very famous, Vedanta Vijnana Sunishchitartha. Sannyasa Yoga Yataya Shuddha Sattvaha. Te Brahmalokeshu Parantakale. Paramritat Parimuchyanti Sarve. These people who are on this spiritual path, the one who has really gone through the entire gamut of this jagat and looked at everything with a very objective eye and has come to understand, oh, You know, the best course or path for me really is the path of mukti. Until this person have come to this, all of this doesn't mean much. Until the person has come to this state, really, the path which is going to be beneficial and meaningful and fruitful and all that is the path of mukti. When the person has come to that time, this person is called as Shuddha Sattva, a person of purified mind. Why? Because he has gone through, oh, this thing, I was attached to that. I had so much likes and dislikes. I had so much of concern and so much of worries and this, and I have given up all of that. Now I want to pursue this path of mukti. So many agitations in the mind because of all of these attachments and then desires and failures and regrets and so many. All of this is gone. Now, this person is concentrating on path of mukti. It's called as Shuddha Sattva. It's called as sadhaka. So here, this is the subject of this verse. This Shuddha Sattvaha, plural is given. Those people who are of purified mind. It means my worldliness has gone away. Impurity and worldliness is one and same. Impurity and worldliness. So one who has given up this worldliness and now is concentrating on the spiritual path of mukti. Shuddha Sattvaha they are called. So those people who are yatayaha, striving hard on this path, again plural. And Vedanta Vijnana Sunishitartha, and who have come to ascertain very clearly the import of the Upanishads. Means as we are doing today, we have to very clearly, very slowly and very clearly try to understand the import of the Upanishads. So those people who are like this, and then Sannyasa Yoga, by Sannyasa Yoga. Sannyasa Yoga means by the yoga of detachment. By the yoga of, see, we have to practice this thing in our life. It is easy to detach from something material. Look here. There are grades in this detachment. And to detach from something material is easier. To detach from something mental is much more difficult. See, like for example, suppose I have this object and somebody comes and tells me, hey, please give me. I take it. It is easy to do that. You detach from it. Take it. Or I have this thing, I have that thing, I don't want it. You give it away. But if somebody tells, hey, today you look ugly. If somebody tells like that, no, that is not a physical thing, that is some image you have in your mind about yourself. There's an image you have, some thinking. I am not an ugly person, I am good looking. So that person comes and tells, you look ugly. That image gets fractured. So to give up that image about oneself, relinquish that image, those type of things are very difficult. We all have estimations about ourselves. Estimation means I think I am like this, or I'm like that, or I like this, I like, and the other person comes and fractures that, whatever is there in our mind. That is very, very difficult thing to get rid of. That is why we get angry so fast. So this tyag is not only at the physical level, tyag also at the intellectual or mental level of the antakarana. And that tyag at the level of the antakarana is what is very, very important for all of us. Because even at the level of the antakarana, now there are things which are deeper and deeper and more deeply embedded, which we have to give up. Like for example, I think that I am good looking. So that person comes and tells, I am ugly. Then my image gets fractured. Then I sit and I think, Okay, take. I am not Mr. Universe or Miss Universe and all that, And the person told, and that is just hurting my ego. So I study Vedanta, and Vedanta tells I should drop this image which I have about myself. Let me just drop it from today. I am not good looking or ugly or anything. I am just I'm just there. Okay, so I can work on that. But there are deeper, more embedded things which I have to drop. And the deepest one is called as Dehatma Buddhi. I have to drop that I am this BMI. So there are grades of things in the Antakarana which I have to drop. Some of them also will be easier and some is very difficult. Dehatma Buddhi is so embedded for countless births, countless, limitless, infinite number of births. I have had this Dehatma Buddhi, or this feeling of identification with this Upadhi. That is very difficult thing to give up, you see, to drop. So this Sannyasa Yoga, when we see this word you have to think now. At the physical level, dropping things, that is easy. At the intellectual level, there are also grades. I can quickly drop some image which I have about myself, or in my intellect, I have some I like this thing, but I have a like for what you call the beach. So I give up that like. Why I like beach? Well, Bhagwan is there everywhere. He's there in the beach as much as he's there in my room. अरे बीच और हमारे कमरे के बीच में भगवान भी है. He's there and he's here and he's in the middle also. He's everywhere. So why I should not have this? So we can give up likes and dislikes and all that kind of thing from the intellect. But when it comes to the deepest part of things which are so embedded, like the identification with this PMI, that is very difficult. So Sannyasa Yoga is at all levels and it goes deeper and deeper and deeper. The ability to drop identification with this BMI. Finally, Sannyasa Yoga, people, these pure-minded ones who have taken to the path of mukti, they strive hard. For them now, result is given. Brahmalokeshu paranta kale paramritat parimuchyanti. They become free. Parimuchyanti. Now, Brahmaloke word is given there. Brahmalokeshu. At the end, paranta kale. Whichever end you want to say, finally, eventually, like that, parantakale, eventually, what will happen? They parimuchya become free. Become free means attain state of mukti. It means all ignorance on their mind goes away. And why Brahma Loke? In the realm of Brahma, meaning to say, the scripture is also leaving room for what is called as krama mukti. So now see, let me tell you a little bit about this before we continue, otherwise it will not make sense. See, krama mukti is like this. The person does all his sadhanas, all spiritual practices well here, but just fell short of this mukti while living Jivan Mukti. Jivan Mukti fell short. So what happens to such a person? He goes to Brahma Lok, a different loka. And from there only, he will eventually get mukti. So two possibilities are there. Of course, muktis of different type. You have heard that. Salokya, Samipya, Sarupya, Sayujya and all, mukti and all. So this, apart from that, I'm talking. One is, while living here itself, one gets enlightenment. He gets what's called Jivan Mukti. He is freed while here. So he realizes what he is while here in this body itself. But some people may not reach there, but they have reached almost there. So they go to Brahma Lok. Brahmaji is there. And at the end of that cycle, that person and Brahmaji and all of them get mukti like that. So that is one possibility also. So this word is given to allow for that possibility. So one has either Jivan Mukti or one has that Krama Mukti, that is called Krama Mukti. Okay. So those who strive hard will have, in either case, it will be Mukti only. So those are the ones who will reach, and please remember all of the words which are there. The first was Vedanta Vijnana Sunishchitarthaha. Those who have firm, clear understanding of all the imports of the Vedanta. Like this morning, I was telling you in this Vedanta, in the Upanishad, what the teaching is. The teaching is that mukti is not something to be gained, though we are using that type of language, you know. There's a what you call a paucity in the language. The language is like that. We have to say, I gain mukti, I acquire mukti, I get mukti, but really, I am nitya mukta. We're using a language like that only. I'm nitya mukta. And what I'm doing is all of this sadhana to remove ignorance. That is all. I'm engaging in all different types of sadhanas to remove something which is the problem. That is the idea. So understanding the Vedanta like this, Vedanta Vijnana Sunishchitarthaha. Okay. So there, Bhagwan Brahmaji tells what will not bring mukti, and he also tells what will bring mukti, or how mukti is to be achieved. Okay. Now, here comes then, this is verse number 5. Very nice verse about sadhana. Now remember, I told there are only two things. One is mukti and the other is sadhana. Now see this, engaging in sadhana. Now Brahmaji had already told Shraddha, Bhakti, Dhyana Yoga, isn't it? 3 types of sadhanas. But I told you, those are not the only 3 types of sadhanas. You see, how it will be if we say, okay, these are the only 3 types of sadhanas. You have to find yourself doing one of them. And if you don't do, you are in trouble. No, but then there are not only 3 types of people in the world. There are so many different types of people. Everybody unique in his own way, isn't it? So all types of sadhanas are given. Now see here, nice list of sadhanas are given. Or the main sadhana actually is highlighted. Now, what is the main sadhana? I told you there, Dhyana Yoga, isn't it? For a Vedanta student, this Dhyana, and here the Dhyana is now really elaborated. And in that, there are so many little sadhanas that we can start practicing. I'll show you how now. See this. Let us chant first, and then we'll see this thing. Vivikta desha sukhasana sthaha. Shuchi samagri vashira shariraha. Atyashamastha sakalendriyani. Nirudhya bhaktya swagurum pranamya. Kritpundarikam virajam vishuddham. Vichintya madhye vishadam vishokam. That is what I have. I don't have that copy. Okay. Now see Vivikta Deshe Sukhasanastaha Chuchish Samagriva Shira Sharira. In all of this, Nirudhya Bhaktya Hritpundarikam Virajam Vishuddham Vichinta Madhye Vishadam Vishokam. What is being talked about is assuming the sthiti or the posture, the state of meditation. And what is required is certain prerequisites. Now see the first word itself. Now for meditation, certain things are required. We have to and more cultivate these things in our life. First thing, vivikta deshe. Vivikta deshe means Krishna uses this word several times in Bhagavad Gita also. Vivikta sevi lagvashi, vivikta desha sevitvam arate janasam sadi ityadi. Nice verses like that come in Bhagavad Gita. Vivikta desh. Let me tell you what vivikta desha. It means a solitary place. A solitary place. And what it indicates is one should have a natural inclination towards solitude. So now this is something for us to practice. You see, suppose we say, but Swamiji, I am not any big meditator or anything, I don't really reach any high state of meditation where I lose myself and I go into samadhi and all that. People are far from that, So for a meditator, this is a very good marker to see whether really I will be successful in meditation. I have to have a natural inclination for vivikta desha, for solitude, like loving to be in a solitary place by myself. I remember once we had all gone to sit with our Puja Gurudev. And see, Mahatmas are like that. They all the time enjoy being with the self, by themselves. So we had gone to see Puja Gurudev, and then he said, okay, Gurudev, now we'll go. Now we'll leave. Gurudev said, thank you. In other words, Mahatmas just like to be in a state of solitude. There's one of wonderful stories of Swami Nityanandji from Ganesh Puri. It's actually Swamiji never used to invite anybody or encourage anybody to come, because he used to just love his solitude. So a person who loves the solitude will be very, very successful in meditation also. But and I'm telling this because in this world, you find people who cannot do without company. We always have to have some company and all. This one has to be there, that one. And if nobody has come, I go. Nobody has come here to be with me, then I'll go there and be with them. So learning to be by, you know what Gurudev used to say nicely? You have to learn to enjoy your own company. And if you cannot enjoy your own company, don't inflict it on others. Vivikta Desh, how nice. See, now suppose I'm not any big meditator, but I can practice this thing, isn't it? I can practice this. I have to be very contented and happy with myself, by myself, through myself. Otherwise, when others are not there, I am like fish out of water. So, Vivikta Desha. This is all preparations for meditation. Next one, Sukhasana. Now he says, I have to sit Sukhasana. These all words are there in Bhagavad Gita also. So, I sit down in a very nice, comfortable position. In meditation, I should not be uncomfortable. Then you will not meditate. I guarantee you will not meditate. I should not be in any uncomfortable position. I just be in a very nice, comfortable position. Otherwise, what will happen for meditation? If you sit uncomfortably, that you will be wondering about that pain only and thinking only about that pain or discomfort. So I sit in a very comfortable position. And Shuchi means a clean place. Clean here includes free from any things that can disturb me. That is the idea. You don't go and sit to meditate in a lion's den. Or you sit to meditate where there are snakes passing. Snakes are coming by, you sit there. No. Some place free from all disturbances and distractions and all. Shuchi would clean. Samagriva Shira Sharira, and this body says, now see, this is meditation which was given Dhyana Yoga. Now I have to sit up straight, it says. Head, neck, and back in one straight line like this. That is the idea for meditation. Not trying to meditate like that. Meditation requires exclamation mark, not a question mark, you know. Exclamation mark, straight like that. So this is first giving the place and the posture and, you know, the attitude and all of that, giving there first. Then now, atyashramastha sakalendriyani nirudhya. This ati ashrama word is such a wonderful word. Ashrama word, you know, there is brahmacharya ashrama, grihastha ashrama, brahmacharya ashrama, grihastha ashrama, vanaprastha ashrama, and sannyas ashrama. This ati ashrama word, how did that come now? We only know 4 ashrama, but there's one more here now, ati ashrama. Ati ashrama means sannyas ashrama. And just now we discussed the word sannyasa. It means when I sit there in my meditation seat, I detach from every single thing. I detach from every single thing at that moment. This thing will happen, that thing, I have to get up and write that letter. I have to make that phone call to the bank. I have to call my stock market agent, or what you call, I don't know what you call them. I have to, you know, do this thing. All of these things, I just have to cast it out of my mind. Then you sit there, but if I don't call that fellow from the stock market and something happens before I get up from meditation, I will lose all my money. We start thinking. That time, if you think, do you think you will meditate? This is not going to happen. So at that time, I cast it out. Okay, if the stock market crashes and I lose everything, theek hai, Bhagwan ki ichha. This is Bhagwan's wish only, isn't it? If we don't have this type of attitude to cast everything out of the mind at that moment, meditation will not be possible. This is called atyashrama. Atyashrama, where I cast out everything from the mind. Sakalendriyani nirudhya, and I control all the senses. I restrain all of the senses now. Otherwise, I can sit here, close my eyes, but I'm still paying attention to what gossip is going on in the next room, or what song is playing on the television or on the radio or something. So I have to control all my senses, bring them, and let whatever be, be. Okay. Bhaktya, it said with devotion also. Bhaktya is like Dehili Deepa Nyaya coming on both sides. With Swagurum Pranamya, with devotion, I prostrate to my Guru. And with devotion also, I bring all the 5 senses. I control them. It meaning to say, with a lot of love, oh, Bhagwan has given me all of these eyes, ears, nose, everything. Let me bring them and let me now concentrate on the reality from where they spring. They're called bhakti. Or the bhakti is good, could go with Swagurum Pranamya. With devotion, I do pranam to my Guru. So, all preparation. Then, Hrit Pundarikam, Virajam Vishuddham Vichintya Madhye Vishadam Vishokam Achintyam Avyaktam Anantarupam Shivam Prashantam Amritam. Amritam, Brahma, Yunim. Now, all these are describing what is there in the cave of the heart, on the lotus of the heart. Hrit Pundarikam. The Hrit Pundarikam word refers to, see, I'll tell you. We see things in the Upanishads and we usually take literal meaning of these things. They're not to be taken as literal meaning. Now, don't go looking inside your heart and there will be a lotus there. And then you start debating now which color lotus, because some people like blue lotus, some people like red lotus, some people like white lotus, and then that another discussion will come. So inside even some lotus will be there, and then some place say some flame is there. Some people go inside looking for a flame, and they say that flame is the size of your thumb. Or not to be taken literally, huh? These are suggestive words to point the mind in a certain direction. Please remember this thing, huh? Pointing the mind in a certain direction is what is required. Not literally looking for some lotus or some light, or you'll become lightheaded. You don't go looking for light there. All right. So in the cave of the heart, there's a lotus of the heart, all of these words are given. What it means to say, you just think. Internet connection is unstable. You all are hearing me? Okay. What it means to say, look here. When we sit like this, right, and we go inside, we can go to superficial layers of our mind, when we can go to deeper and deeper and deeper layers of the mind or not. You see now, think. So if I close my eyes and then quickly some memory comes, oh, yesterday I got 2 nice big avocados like that. It is true, eh? Yesterday I got 2 big avocados. Like you all living in America, you don't know what is avocados. You have to come here to see avocado. That avocado is as big as a coconut. Huge, huh? So now I sit for meditation. Then what? I remember now 2 big avocados. Now this is a memory which is popping up in the mind, right? So this is a very superficial layer of the mind. So this is very, very superficial. Memory just popped up. Now, if I go deeper, I realize that this mind is naturally agitated. My mind is naturally agitated. It has this quality of jumping from here to there. When I start thinking about that quality of the mind, now that is not a random memory that has popped up. I'm thinking about a basic quality of the mind. What? The quality of fickleness. That is a deeper part of my mind. Because I'm thinking about a quality of the mind. I'm not thinking about a random memory. It has a trait, a characteristic, quality. So the first is a memory that is more superficial. Deeper is a quality of, everybody's mind will have different qualities. So deeper part of the mind. Now, if I go even deeper than that, oh, this mind is ignorant. It has so much of ignorance. This mind doesn't know this, it doesn't know that, it doesn't know a million things. It's ignorant about so many countless things. This is a more basic and fundamental quality of the mind rather than fickleness. That is still more superficial. Deeper than that is ignorance of the mind. Now, that ignorance of the mind is known or not. Ignorance of the mind is known, because how am I talking about it? So I don't know French. So there's ignorance of French. Where is the ignorance? In my mind. So I know the ignorance or not. That's how I'm telling you about it. I know it, isn't it? So then there's something which is even more deep than the ignorance. There's awareness of that ignorance. So when we say the lotus of the heart, or it means to say I'm going to the deepest part of my antakarana, where there is awareness even of ignorance. Because I know I'm ignorant of this, I'm ignorant of that, I'm ignorant of so many things. I know it. So there's an awareness of it. That awareness is the deepest part of my personality. That is what you want to call Guhahitam, you want to call Hritpundarikam, you want to call Guhayam. So many words are there. It is the deepest part of my personality, which is really the awareness of all the other superficial things of the Antakarana. Awareness, it is called. So don't take it to mean some literal lotus which is sitting there or any such thing, you know. Virajam Vishuddham. It is all the time shining and pure. I means now when I sit there and I engage, follow all of these things. What follow all what things? I select a solitary place. I develop in my personality likeness for solitude and solitary place and being at one with myself and all of that. And I sit there straight up and all of that. And then I do salutations to my guru and follow all of these things. Now what? Bring the mind and take it in stages to the deeper and deeper and deeper parts of the personality. And that reality is being described as Achintyam. Now see, in the previous line, Vichintya. Vichintya. And in the next line, Achintyam. It is unthinkable. Vichintya is given so that I'll be able to pull the mind and turn it in that direction. But then I have to also tell that mind, oh, that reality is not conceivable. And that is why Puja Gurudev used to say, to define God is to defile God. Because the mind which is limited cannot conceive of something which is unlimited. So it is called as Achintyam. Achintyam or Rupam. In Bhagavad Gita and all different places, it's called without form and unthinkable. A reality. Then it is Avyaktam. It is unmanifest. The reality which I am supposed to turn my mind towards, it is unthinkable and it is unmanifest. Anantam, Ananta Rupam. And it is of countless forms. Now see, the Upanishads seemingly get into contradictions when they are trying to seemingly explain the reality. Brahman, Paramatma, supreme reality, is inexplicable. And so the intellect, in its effort to explain the unthinkable, has to engage in various types of words to point the intellect in that direction. I'll give you a nice example from the teachings of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. He used to tell about a salt doll, a little doll made out of salt. And the salt doll wanted to measure the depth of the ocean. Now, what's the size of a doll and what's the size of the ocean? And he said, well, the only way you are going to measure the depth of the ocean is for you to dive into the ocean. Well, the salt doll said, okay, I'll dive. And the salt doll dived into the ocean to measure the depth of the ocean. Then what happened? Well, that was the end of salt doll. The salt doll merged into the ocean. Now, you think of the impossibility of that act. Can a salt doll ever measure the depth of the ocean? That is not going to be possible, isn't it? It is not possible at all. The salt doll may endeavor to measure the depth of the ocean, but in the endeavor, what happens is the salt doll loses its individual identity, and so because of it dives into the ocean, it melts away, and then there is no salt doll left to say what is the depth of the ocean. So two things happen. What is happening there is an individuality which is called a salt doll. And because there is an individuality, there is a question. What is the question? What is the depth of the ocean? But when the doll dives in, the individuality goes, and then what happens to the question? Because now there is no individual, there is no question. Well, it is exactly the same thing for the one who sits in meditation here. From here, there will be question. What is the nature of Brahman? Where is Brahman? How can I reach Brahman? All of this, right? There'll be so many questions. Now we know the salt doll sitting on the shores cannot know the depth of the ocean. So the individual who is sitting in meditation really cannot know Brahman, because the individual has a finite little mind, and Brahman, which is infinite, he cannot know Brahman by sitting. So what the individual has to do? The individual has to delve into his own self. But what happens? When he dives into his own self, the individuality disappears, and any question about Brahman, that also disappears. Now, why two words? Vichintya and achintya. You see, from here, the salt doll is sitting, and yes, I'm thinking about ocean. The ocean is this big, ocean is that big, and so many oceans. So from here, the jiva is sitting and thinking about Brahman. Brahman is with all of Satchidananda, Brahman is Satyam Jnanam Anantam, all of these things. The individual. So Vichintya, we're thinking about Brahman, but that Brahman, when I dive in, the individual who was thinking about Brahman, that individual disappears, because that Brahman is achintya. Really, that individual cannot grasp from sitting outside. It is unthinkable, inconceivable. Avyaktam. Avyaktami. See, these are all technical words in Vedanta. Vyakta means that which is perceivable to the senses, mind and senses. That is called as vyakta. Avyakta means that which is there but not perceivable, not cognizable. So that reality is called as avyakta, ananta rupam. It is that reality which is manifest as all of these countless forms. It is of ananta rupa. It is that reality which is manifesting as all of these forms which we see in front of us. But it is like sugar, you know, when you go to especially an Indian sweet shop. So there are so many varieties of sugar there. And each one of them will equally give you diabetes, because they are all made from the same sugar. What else? So it is sugar in this form, sugar in that form, sugar in every countless form that you see there. So here, it is everything in the universe in the form of existence. It is existence, Satchidananda, everywhere. And it is, you know, the examples which we use, the examples have to be given some more thought. Now see, it doesn't matter which form. Oh, I remember a nice example. You know, one fellow, he went to visit his friend in Europe, and his friend said, okay, come, I have to take you to the most exquisite chocolate shop in our city. So he took him to a chocolate shop. Inside that shop, every single thing was made out of chocolate. So they had chocolate bars, but then they had also chocolate elephant, chocolate dog, chocolate bird, chocolate spider, chocolate cockroach, everything made from chocolate. So he told, here, try this chocolate cockroach. Try. That fellow took a bite. He said, it tastes like an ordinary cockroach to me. Anyway, so I want you to tell, you go in that shop and everything is made from chocolate. If you taste a chocolate cockroach as opposed to a chocolate spider, will it taste different? If it tastes different, that is only in your mind, isn't it? This is made from the same chocolate and this is made from the same chocolate. It cannot taste different. So this name is different from this name. So the nama, right? Then rupa is also different because this is cockroach rupa and it's spider rupa. So nama rupa is different. But the fundamental material from which both of them are made is one and same. It is exactly what you have to think about everything in this universe. It's exactly how you have to think. You look different, I look different, everything in this world looks different. Some look jada, some look chetan, whatever. Some things are live, some things are not live. Everything in the world look different and appear different and are characterized differently and all of that. But really, everything is made from the same basic fundamental material. So there is a rupa and nama vibhakti, but not swarupa vibhakti. At the level of the swarupa, everything is one and same. So here ananta rupa word is given. There's countless forms are there, but don't let the countless forms fool you, Let it have countless forms. It's okay. Shivam, Prashantam. This reality is being described. The indescribable is being described. It's called as Shivam, auspicious. This reality. Prashantam, of the nature of pure. Prakarshena Shantam. So extreme peace. That's why Bhagwan says from this Tyagat Shanti Radantaram. Sa Shantimati Gacchati. How many words like that in Gita? He reaches a state of pure Shanti. This reality is described as pure Shanti, means to say where there is pure stillness, no stirring, no movement. Pure stillness only is there. Amritam. Amritam means undying. Undying means change and death is one and same, so unchanging. Undying and unchanging is same. How, you see, if something is changing, if this thing changes from yellow to green, the yellow has to die and give way to the green. One prior state or prior rupa has to die to give room to the new state or new rupa. So there is a death and there is a birth also. There is a death of an old state and there is the emergence of a new state. There is no death without birth also. No death without birth, or vice versa. Jatasya hi dhruva mrityu, dhruvam janma mritasya cha. Wherever there is birth, there is also death, and wherever there is death, there is also birth. Because the death of one thing gives birth to another. The two are always there together. So here now, this reality is beyond this birth and death. That is why I call it Amritam. If no death is there, where will it be there? Birth. Ajo nitya shashvatoyam purana. That's why I call Aja, unborn also. So here, Amritam and Ajaha there in Gita. You see? Brahma Yonim. Brahma Yonim means in the very womb of Brahma, the very womb of, you see, here Brahma Yonim you can take either way. It is the womb of the whole universe, one, or several ways. Or Brahmaji is manifesting all things, you know. And please pay attention to that also. Brahmaji, see, we have used for a long time because we all British educated. British came to India and translated all our scriptures and everything. So say Brahmaji is the creator. Brahmaji is not creator. Creator word is a Western word. Brahmaji is the one who manifests things. I just told you now. Things are there in a state of unmanifest. Brahmaji brings them into a state of manifest. Avyaktat Vyaktaya Sarvaha. From the state of Avyakta, things come into Vyakta. From the state of unmanifest, things come into manifest. And they stay for a little while, and then again they go into unmanifest. So Brahmaji is the one who brings them from unmanifest into manifest. That is the idea. So this Brahmaji is bringing things from a state of unmanifest into a state of manifest. Then where are they in that state of unmanifest? They are in the womb of the reality. Womb of the reality means from where they arise, that is the womb of the reality. I'll give you some other example for you to think about. You think now. See, right now, I'm talking. Okay. No, you are not talking, you are listening. But as soon as I'm finished talking, then you will meet whoever you have there and then you will start talking, isn't it? So now, some of you will speak in English, some of you will speak in Telugu, some of you will speak in Marathi, some of you will speak in Gujarati, you will speak in so many different languages, Malayalam and whatever, Tamil. Now, whatever you are going to say at the end of this discourse, you think, that thing has to be inside you already or not? Because you suddenly cannot start speaking in Greek. Because inside of you, there is no Greek. So you're going to be speaking something just now in a few minutes, but that thing has to be present inside of you already. Whatever you're going to be speaking. And whatever is not there inside of you, you cannot speak. Now, if you go inside, two things. First of all, you don't know where it is. Whatever you're going to say, you don't know where inside of you that thing is. Second, you don't even know what you are going to say. Correct or not? Like I will be speaking tomorrow all day, but I don't know what I am going to say. But the only thing we are sure about is that has to already be inside of me. Wherever it is inside of me, that is called as avyakta. It is unmanifest. Pretty soon, it will become manifest. That avyakta is called the womb, from where things come out. From where all things, now in this universe, from all things are emerging, manifesting. From where? It is a great womb of Brahmaji only. A great womb of the reality only. Brahman. Because the substratum for all things, it has to be Brahman only. There is no second substratum. The springboard from where all things come. This is the idea. So, the reality is being described in so many various words. And what it all does, it is supposed to help me to bring my intellect to something subtler and subtler and subtler, give the intellect a certain type of quality so that the intellect will be able to come and stay inside rather than the intellect going or the antakarana running here and there through the senses and going everywhere. You see? So, achintyam avyaktam, this one we did not chant. Achintyam avyaktam ananta rupam. Shivam Prashantam Amritam Brahmayonim. What happened? I am using that has two more lines. Tathadi madhyanta vihinamekam vibhum chidanandam rupam adbhutam. Yeah. What happened? I don't have in front of me your Chinmay, our Chinmay copy. I have some other thing here, so they broke up the words in different things also. Tathadi madhyanta vihinamekam. This reality is described as without beginning, without middle, and without end. It means to say now the thing which I am going to meditate at the deepest part of my personality, that thing is being described. No beginning, no middle, no end. What the Upanishad is doing, it is breaking down all the scaffolding that the intellect uses for carrying out its daily transactions. So when you see something, you don't think about it, but it is part of your perceptive transaction, what you're doing. So this thing, when you see, it has a beginning, a middle, and an end, but you don't think about it. You say, this is a watch. In saying this is watch, you know where the watch starts and where it ends. It has limitations, demarcations, boundaries, delineations, like that. That we accept as a matter of course. We don't go on saying it all the time, but those are the scaffoldings which are there in the intellect for which it uses to think. So what is it the Upanishad is doing? Look, you only think in terms of beginning, middle, and end. But here's a reality which does not lend itself to any such characterization. See, because you were born on a particular day, and then you see other people being born on this day, and then we live for a certain time, and we see other people dying, then I will also die. So you know about beginning, middle, and end. And we think in those terms. But to think about something which has no beginning, no end, that is very difficult for the human intellect. That beginning, middle, and end, that is a Western concept, where time is linear. The world began at this time. It's like, stories like that. God was sitting there or wherever. I don't know if he was sitting or standing, but God was there. And then he was maybe a little bit bored. And then I am such a lonely person. I'm here all alone, Better I create something. So then he started creating Alakazam. And then create. And then he ended. And I think he finished in 5 or 6 days or something. And he was very tired. And then he rested. So he began here and ended here. And those stories are there, right? So it's called linear time, beginning and end. And because all of us have this in our mind, we go on also asking, why Bhagwan made this world? We ask this question, nah? Why Bhagwan made this world? And when he made this world? And what was the first thing? And then the jivas, if Bhagwan is making jivas and the jivas have to come and live in this world, then nobody had karma. Where they got karma from? Where you got prarabdha karma from? All such questions will come. Listen to the question. See, if a Hindu holds to this idea that God was there and then he started making this world and then finished, made the world, right? If Hindu has this question, his first if a Hindu holds this idea, first question will come. Okay, God alone was there. Then he made these jiva, 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 jiva. Now, all jivas are not same. On what basis he made one jiva rich and one jiva poor? Then people say, no, 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 he made all jiva same. See, you'll come up with all sorts of silly answers. He made all jivas same. Oh, all jivas were same. Then the jivas made themselves unequal. He made all jivas same. So if he made all jivas same, that means all the jivas had the same karma. If all jivas have same karma, they cannot become unequal then. Same prarabdha karma, because remember, in this lifetime you have to go through this prarabdha karma. So he made all of them and he gave all of them same prarabdha karma. Well, if we all get the same prarabdha karma, we will not become unequal or anything. Means same things will come, same amount of wealth will come to you, same amount of wealth will come to me. Same amount of disease or sickness will come to you, same amount of disease and sickness will come to me. And why that jiva will have to go through disease and sickness when he did not do any previous bad karma? Because he's now being born. He's now being created. Countless, my idea is, countless questions will come and you will not be able to find an appropriate answer for any one of them. That is when you hold this idea that God created the world in this time, this is the middle, and then there's an end when he finished. In Hinduism, please pay attention to this. There is no beginning, there is no middle, and there is no end. You have to try to get this idea embedded in your mind. It means the intellect has to understand, oh, if I go back 5 billion years, everything was still there. And if I go 5 billion years before that, it was still there. And no matter infinitely how much I go back, everything was still there. Although some things are there in unmanifest and some things are there in manifest. And things are always coming into manifest, going into unmanifest, and like that. And there's a eternal cycle which is going on. So this is pure Hinduism. Not the other thing, it was there was no world and then he created this world. That's not Hinduism. There are answers you will never be able to get in that kind of thing. Okay, so Anantam, what do you call? Adi, Madhya, Anta, Vihinam. Without beginning, middle, and end. All three, Maya, Jagat, and Jagadishwara. All three are without beginning, middle, and end. And Ekam, the reality is one. We don't have two realities. We have only one reality. The reality which I'm meditating on is only one. Vibhum, all pervasive, Chidanandam of the nature of Chit consciousness and Ananda, Arupam, formless. Just now Ananta Rupam. Now Arupam. You see, it is contradictory words, but from one standpoint it looks like this, and from another standpoint it looks like that. And that's what you have to understand. Adbhutam, amazing. The reality is amazing. It will cause your hairs to stand on end. All right, we'll pick up from these two lines again in tomorrow morning's class. So today evening class is Kabir Bani. Kabir Bani we'll see in evening. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Thank you, Swamiji. Hari Om, everyone. Our next satsang will be at 3 o'clock. We'll have the satsang by our Brahmacharni Jyotiji. So please do tune in to that. right at 3 o'clock. So please be there. And like Swamiji said, our evening satsang will be on Kabir Vani, and that will start at 7 o'clock. But as always, do tune in 10 minutes before, because we'll have the Swaranjali. So have a good afternoon, and we'll see you back at 3 p.m.
I just wanted to add, Hari Om, that Shivaji and Jyotiji's talks will be related to the Upanishad and our sadhanas. I would strongly recommend all of us tune in and listen to them. That will help us in our spiritual sadhana. Thank you. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.